Good morning to all of you early risers, and I am sorry about having to come out early, but the only way I could do or catch the full moon and the rising sun this morning was to start 5 minutes early. So forgive me for starting early, but don't worry, it's gonna be a long video, so anyone that's not actually on right now will most definitely catch the beauty that we're gonna be taking in today. Not in a rush today. We're gonna do some beautiful East Coast area, somewhere we have not been for a long time, close to 4 months. So I thought it was time that we came back in this area and shared it with you all guys, so you could enjoy it. As you can see, we have a spectacular sunrise this morning, and we are in the stunning area known as Calwash, going into lakes in the Parish of St Andrew on the east coast of where? Place we call home, heaven, or paradise. You can mix them all together, it makes no difference. Beautiful, beautiful morning. I'll show you just a glimpse of the full moon before it goes. I do have a couple of lovely stills out here this morning before it actually started to disappear, but look at the full moon there between the coconut trees. Just beautiful this morning. Stunning. Wish it was a little bit higher, but maybe who knows how it goes tomorrow. We'll see. Just amazing beauty this morning. Put on those darker makers, folks, because we have the full blast here now of a glorious sunrise. So as to not blind everyone, we're going to take in a little bit of the East Coast along with some of the sun, that you can enjoy that as well. Try and get the focus on light in a little darker area, and then we'll come back over slightly. And this is where we will say our prayer of serenity. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Your will, not ours, be done. Amen. What a beautiful morning this is. Alright, I haven't done this here for a while, as I said. You know, my conductor last night said to me, Nick, let's keep it a mystery. Let's not let anybody know where we're going until we get there, and let's make them guess. So again, his input we're going to use as well. Hope you all are enjoying this beautiful thing. I know that our bus driver must be frantic, pulling out of here, driving all over St Andrew looking for the EMC location. Don't mind, we're going to take care of you later on. We're going to send you some extra care and love for all your efforts, bus driver. Thank you very much, boss lady. Beautiful, beautiful morning. All right, we're going to walk our way to the area known as Long Pond in St Andrew again. And out here is absolutely beautiful this morning. It is peaceful. The wind is cool. There's no joke. This is really cool out here right now. There's no warmth at all for the sun as yet. The sea breeze again is coming slightly off of the shoreline, which is giving us our side shore, which is not giving us the full blast of sea spray that we would normally encounter. But I'm going to show you all of the coastline here, and I'm going to point out to exactly where we are so you can get your bearings. Good morning to you, and hello, and greetings to from Barbados. All right, in the distance you see Pico Tenerife, the odd looking point there that's sticking up, and then you can see the white cliffs of Cove Bay. That would be the furthest north that we can see. We actually don't see the north point from here. That is really not referred to as the north point itself. It's just around the corner from there. So just to point out those for you to get your bearings of where we are. And the large or tall antenna mast you're seeing up in the distance, that is the top of Cherry Tree Hill. That's just to the northeast of, well, to the east of Nicholas Abbey itself. That's where that would be. Cherry Tree Hill would be in that general area. And then we're going to work our way around. Now, all of these coconut trees are fairly recently planted. I remember when I came down here years ago, not this last year or the year before, but years before that, because as you can appreciate, these areas you don't normally walk just like that. You wouldn't come over to the East Coast just to walk here. Well, I wouldn't have done it in the past, but I will certainly be doing it in the future for sure, because out here is just amazing. Just peaceful, lovely, lovely sounds. I'll let you listen to them in a second. Remember, darker makers please, but we're going to do a 360 from right here, and then we're going to move on. Is that not just beautiful? I'll have to say, this is one amazing morning. For all you surfers, as you can see, there's still a swell running, but the winds are different today. You're gonna have a little more chop and stuff, but it looks very good to me. Unless the winds pick up, I'm sure you'll have an amazing ride somewhere up at Soup Bowl or part of this morning, or maybe even the sandbank today. That's also a possibility. But I would say definitely there's a swell on. Nothing huge, but definitely rideable for sure. So if you are a surfer and you're in the island, please saddle up, make your way over to the East Coast if you want some lovely surfing exercise. All right, so those who just joined, I see the numbers have gone up quite a bit since we started. Just to let you know, we did start early this morning. We started about, I don't know, maybe 6 minutes to 6 or so. We did that because the full moon was dropping really quickly. So I want to share that, and I also want to share the sunrise. I was going to start a little earlier because the sunrise itself was spectacular this morning. I had a little low cloud that it sat behind, giving it a beautiful filtration. I am hoping that these still shots will come out, that we'll be able to enjoy that later on today. But I had to come around early, so apologies to those that were thrown off a little bit by our early action. I know that I saw some slingers on this morning, and they may have been a little bit disturbed at the early morning as well, but these things can happen. I think from now on I would say at approximately 6 a.m. just to say, protect myself and stuff. All right, I call this area the Christmas tree shop. Now, if any of you have been following these broadcasts from early last year when we started vlogs, well, from last year we started vlogs, you will know that when it came into December time, we were hunting our Christmas tree. And what we did last year was what was the original tradition of Barbados, and that was to either cut a piece of cherry tree or casuarina tree or look for some driftwood and dress it up. So we took the latter of the options because driftwood is just spectacular. And we did make a Christmas tree, but we went for a hunt and we had the entire build up to it all on vlogs. So if you go back in there and look for putting Christmas in the search on the YouTube, you will see the videos that were leading up to it. It was quite exciting. I actually took people from all up in Saddleback and we explored coming down onto the beach where we found the perfect Christmas tree. As you can see, there are lots of Christmas tree possibilities out here, just beautiful. Now this area here, like any other of the East Coast, but because of the expansive beach here and stuff, you get lots of driftwood, lots of plastics and stuff that wash out of the hills, that may be thrown off of the cliffs to the east of here, that may come off of ships that are passing through the Atlantic just to the east of us, etc, etc. So a lot of the stuff you'll see on the beach this morning is not just local, but most of it I would have to say is for sure either from the hills or being washed down from further up shorelines. But you see all the driftwoods and stuff in this area. It is a beautiful natural area. As I said before, these coconut trees were not here. I mean, last year I came down, they were here, yes, but before that I hadn't been down here for maybe 10 years or so on this section, and I had not seen these coconut trees, or if they were here, they were very small and I didn't take note of them. Maybe it's a little longer than that, maybe 15 years. But you can see a lot more being planted, and they're being purposely planted, and that's to protect this big sandbank area here. As you all know, coconut trees have some long stemming roots that go deep and in all directions, so they're very, very good for stability of sand and stuff. It's beautiful down here. Now we came over here, as I said, probably about close to 4 months ago, somewhere in that range. I think it was the beginning of June, somewhere around there. And we did this from actually, we started at the Long Pond area and we walked back in this direction. But if you do remember then, all here was sargassum, maybe knee deep, very, very thick. It was extremely hard to walk across here. I actually had to do it in my 4x4s on that occasion. And that's because I didn't know what lay below it and there was nowhere to walk because it was a relatively high tide. But as you see, the only thing that's here right now is just the decaying sargassum. And you can also see the mounds that are being buried by the sand. Now this will hold the sand in place hopefully a little bit as well too. So it does serve its purpose. It doesn't take away from over here at all right now. Before, yes, it was because there was a lot of it. But right now it doesn't, because this is how this side of the island is. This is what you would expect in an area like this here. You know, if you found a pristine beach here, which can be seen on occasions depending on the time of year, you wouldn't really get the same feel that you're going to experience now. And that's because right now it's rough, rustic terrain, very natural, no development, as natural as you can imagine. Just look at the stunning, stunning beauty. You notice how the driftwood is being washed up on top of that step there, and that would have been probably from the swells that we had the last few days that were quite large, or maybe from Hurricane Larry would have pushed it up on the higher elevation, because you see it would come in here and actually start to create its own bank, as you can see. But it has receded off now. The tide right now is mid-tide dropping, so it's a beautiful, beautiful morning here. We're going to see a lot of sun, so please put on your darker makers for me. It is bright enough that you can keep them on. You don't have to take them off and put them on as bandos and stuff. Just keep them on for now. It's beautiful over here. You can see how the different ridges are here. Now, when anybody who has been to Calwash as a kid will know you run across the top of this ridge and see when it starts to slide from under you if you're able to stay up. And that is something that we used to all do and challenge ourselves with. However, nowadays I wouldn't do that, because if I slip down there, I would probably fall upside down. And I have a camera. I don't need anybody watching me as I go down the ground. It's beautiful over here though. You can just see all of the build up here, the sargassum that has been holding the sand in place. This is not reef, folks. This is sargassum that is dying here and decaying. So it looks like reef, right? But just to show you all the elevations here, have it in as well, so you can get an understanding of how this can actually help us. Don't mind, we sometimes don't like to see it. It does actually help and assist with the holding of the sand in this area. Well, in any area, because you find it on the south coast buried as well too. Just beautiful. I've seen quite a few people out here this morning. I had a couple just strolling, had a guy that was running up and down here, and they had this fisherman and another guy down here. Let's say maybe two fishermen now, but one of them passed me and we spoke for a brief exchange of words and stuff, just good morning and gratitudes and spreading love, as we always like to do. I will tell you though, folks, this is where we're walking is fine. If you're just walking, you and someone, I wouldn't go into the actual denser areas, just two of you if you're going to be hanging around. If you're going to be taking pictures, fine, but you know, just keep an eye out, because it is a very isolated area. It is known as one of the hidden treasures of Barbados, and one of the secrets of Barbados. Well, it's not my secret or hidden treasure anymore. If you didn't know about it already, you're certainly going to know about it now. But in this general area, along this beach, anywhere from, I would say, Barclays Park onward, going down to the north, I would recommend, if you're going to be hanging out, when I say hanging out, I mean laying on towels and stuff. Well, not really Barclays Park. As you start to turn and go into lakes itself by Belplain, I would say anywhere beyond there, I would do it as a +4. I have rated it +4, and it's not because something is going to happen, but all the ingredients are here. So if you're going to be coming over here and spending any lengthy time, please bring a couple of friends with you, and that's only because somebody will be alert at all times, and that's what you really want in isolated areas like this here. Now, we had some rain, I think about 3 weeks ago, pretty heavy, 2 to 3 weeks ago. It actually had flooded the bridge in Belplain, because what happens is all of the driftwood washes down from all the hills, and then when it gets to the drainage tunnels, the bridge at Belplain, they block all of that, and then the water starts to come over it. So that bridge is actually impassable when we have heavy rains, because of what I've just mentioned. So we should see a full long pond this morning. We've also had big swells over the last few days, as you would know. This pond is fed by two different methods of water. One comes from the sea. It comes over the banks when it's extremely rough. You can see how there's no sargassum in front of the actual water area there. Is actually inside of the pond itself, which you can see quite clearly. And that is because it just washes over these banks. So this is a brackish water that we're seeing here. The other way of feeding this here is from all of the hills. Anytime you have rains in the St. Andrew, St. Thomas areas, it runs down into this area here itself and feeds us from the land side. So that is the brackish water that we will find in these areas. They say there's shrimp in here. A lot of people fish in here. I don't know if I would eat anything that came out of here, to be honest with you, because as you can appreciate, everything here washes out of the hills. And as a young fella, I used to run in here. You could actually put yourself in a lot of trouble running in here, because there are lots of soft silt areas that are inside of this actual long pond area. And if you run into these swamps and stuff, you can find yourself just going on something that feels like quicksand, because there's really no bottom in that general area. It starts off and then the silt is there, and you can find yourself in lots and lots of trouble. Just a beautiful morning. Let's watch this fisherman. He's doing some casting from the beach, just to give you let you see the activities that go on over here as well. Great. A lot of people that actually stay in Calwash, at the homes in Calwash, come down here and fish. They've picked up that sport, or they've continued to go with that sport down here. That's fishing from the actual beach itself. But you see lots of swamp birds. A lot of people come over to check, to look at the ecotourism and stuff that we have in this section. There's also got fairly popular over the last few years with SUP boarding. And I do know a few people have come out here with little small boats as well that have been into this section. But SUP boarding is something that I've heard of being very popular here. I actually haven't seen it happening in this area myself, but I do know that it happens. I do know that they surf in this area. That sounds strange, surf in this area. Yep, what they do is they get a long rope and a 4x4. Guy goes and he's into the water itself on his board, and then he is pulled along here like skiing. So we call that surfing long pond. Just beautiful. All right, the eco, and as I said before, over here is what a lot of people come to this section for. We're going to go back a little bit and walk our way into the pond itself a little more for you to see. Just below here is Walker's Reserve. Now, Walker's Reserve are actually growing food and medicinal plants as well. I'm not going to talk too much on that because I want to actually do that later on as a project somewhere along the line for us, for you all to see that. And what it has been done, they've taken the dunes that are no longer used for the sand, that we get our sand from these areas. That hill you're seeing in the center of the camera, there were like maybe from my recollection 4 or 5 of those between here and the Morgan Lewis area in the past. However, that is where we get our land sand from for all of our development in the island. And therefore these hills, a lot of these hills have actually disappeared because they were just sand hills, like most of them are in this area. But this whole area is being terraced and stuff below. I'm going to get some information on there, and I'm going to see who I can find on there that will come up with me early in the morning and maybe give us a walkthrough and do something completely different. But that is a future project, like I said. I'm not going to tell you when that's going to happen. When that happens, you will be as surprised as me. So, sharing the suspicion. All right, we're going to walk our way in here now. We used to have a gentleman here called Julian Hunt. He was a naturalist, I would have to say. Julian had the visions of turning the natural Barbados into the treasures that he showed. He used to hike from all up in St. Thomas down here. He had a big cabin down here that he used to have all of his barbecues and everything at. He used to hike all of the coastline. Basically what you see me doing is something like what Julian would have done. But he was a far more knowledgeable man than me on the natural resources of this island and stuff, because you know, he really studied it for a long time. Unfortunately, Julian has passed now, but his memory for me lives on because he introduced this type of lifestyle to me. And this, I went with him on a few of the hikes when we were hiking from up at Highland coming down here just to see what it was like. And you know, I knew him personally as well. A good guy, you know what I mean? A guy that just loved nature and loved his island. And I guess that's like all of us who are patriots. You know, it's just how we are. You can see all the different types of swamp birds and stuff that are here, just all loving it. Now this area where you will see them walking around, that's normally deep. So you would know that sand is being washed up here into this section here over the pass with the big swell. I've seen down here where the banks burst, it looks like a river going out into the sea as well too when we've had very heavy rains, and I'm sure that has also happened. But all this sand would be a build up, because right here where you see the sand, like this little island, this was all deep before. When I say deep, probably about shoulder deep. Some areas deeper than that for sure, but definitely around chest shoulder deep before. Just beautiful. I'm going to keep quiet and let you enjoy the sounds of the nature that we're going to be walking through now, okay? So we're going to start this area here with our birds, and we're going to start our way walking in. Okay, just a little more about down here as well. You know, down here has, on the banks itself, have various types of grass. They're not, like, you can find the zoysia grass down here, the crab grass, the seashore grass. I know there are 3, there are probably many more. And you'll find all types of fish and shrimp in this section as well. So I'm told, as I said, I wouldn't eat anything from here. I think it would more be a sport, so hopefully a catch and release situation, but I'm not too sure really what goes on down here. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can hear the wildlife just all around us, huh? So I'm going to do a little more silent walking for you. We're going to do a little bit of that this morning because with this kind of nature, I need to shut my mouth and let you enjoy it. So here we go. Well, that is a photo opportunity with that egret sitting on top of that driftwood. Isn't that just beautiful? What is spectacular. You can come down here with a camera right now. I tell you the truth, I am so tempted to take photos, but I'm not going to because this is more important to me. However, you could come here with a camera and stay for the entire day. Different types of day, you'll see different types of wildlife. So you can come over here and enjoy the peace and quiet over here. You would have noticed a few tire tracks in the sand just now where someone has obviously driven out here, which is not something I would advocate. Please do not drive on the beaches in Barbados. There is an entrance, a 4x4 entrance just over here. You can see the road that comes in. So whoever is watching this here, if you are one of the people that's driven out here, you know the damage you're doing to this ecotourism. So please be careful what you're doing on these areas. I know sometimes there are police jeeps that will come through here, so you know that is a necessity, but just be wary and be conscious of what's going on around you, because you know the world needs to be more conscious of what we have and try and save what we have and stop destroying it. You know, and that applies to everything. It doesn't just apply to here, it applies to life in general. All right, we talked a few minutes ago about Julian Hunt and his log cabin, or his cabin he had down here. That is the remains of it there. He had a huge stone stove that he used to cook everything on. He had his table, everything there carved out of rock, as you can see, and it was all put together looking like something he would have collected. A lot of the wood, although the main structure was out of heavier wallable posts and stuff, as you can see there, all the thatching and everything was stuff that he would have collected from around the area, which made it even more priceless. It was just beautiful. Now you can see that water is here, and coming through here in a 4x4 would probably not be right now possible. I would think it's probably a little bit deep and a little bit messy, but there's some beasts that around the place that people own, so that's a possibility. Just beautiful. I wanted to bring you back here today. As I said, we'd done it before, but today just felt right. You know, this morning when we got out, I did not know where we were going. Again, that is pretty much the practice or the habit. I'm not trying to decide where we're going to go until the morning time and then try and decide at last minute and get things together so we can make it reality. But to be honest with you, this morning, this was the place that's shouting, was screaming, Nick, bring everyone over to Long Pond. Let them have a look at this beautiful, beautiful nature's paradise. Because a lot of people don't get to see here. I mean, it's quite a walk down the beach, as you can appreciate. And a lot of people may not be able to make the walk, and it is fairly far away as well. So, you know, it's, as I said, you know, it might not just be that you're not able to walk, but you might not want to walk in the conditions. If you walked here in midday time, you would regret it. And that is the truth, because the heat out here is intense. And especially if there's no wind, you get scalded. And the sun, I will add, feels as though it is cold. And that is the honest truth. Because of the color of this sand, it absorbs the heat. And when you walk over this sand around midday or so on the east coast, you can quite easily lose the entire surface skin of your foot. I know that for sure. And you will most definitely feel nauseous. And if you're going across the beach and you think you can make it over, remember you have to come back from the sea to wherever you are. So I would recommend slippers, especially if it is in the you know, midday time or anytime in mid-afternoon time. And that's just my recommendation. It's very, very rough. All right, over here we also have, there are 4 rivers in Barbados that we call rivers. And the first one is, well, this is one I'd like to talk about now, and this is not the Constitution River. This is Long Pond River that they call in St. Andrew. Then there's Joe's River, which we visited yesterday. We then have a Bruce Vale River, which is also in St. Andrew, which I will hopefully be able to show you that as well. Now, Bruce Vale and this one here are fed off of the hills, as I had mentioned, from the rainfalls. And then there's a green pond below, but that's not really a river per se, it's called Green Pond. Just a beautiful natural Barbados. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you another 360. I'm going to walk out a little bit further, but I want to stay in the shade so that you can get a better look than if you take the intense glare from the sun and get a good vantage point for you. Alright, we're going to do this real slow. You can take this all in. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the sounds, and enjoy the peace and serenity of Barbados from this unseen and very little known of treasure. Well, I honestly don't think I can take you anywhere more peaceful and serene than you are at right now, to be honest with you. I've just stood up here just now and I've absorbed all of what you were taking in at the same time. The sounds of the birds, at the beginning they were very quiet, and all of a sudden they realized that the EMC camera was out here taking some footage, and they all started to sing some beautiful, beautiful tunes. As you'll notice, you're not hearing the regular blackbird, you're not hearing the regular wood dove, you're hearing the swamp birds and the birds you'll find in this area. Just beautiful. I can't get enough of out here, to be honest with you. It's just stunning. All right, we're going to walk back in the other direction so you can take in some of the scenery. We're going to be having some blinding sun, so I'm going to be shifting you all over, trying to get away from the sun a little bit. It is extremely intense this morning, and there's no filtration of clouds right now, so I don't want to take up all of the entire video with nothing but glare and stuff. So we're going to work our way back over. You will see all of the hills. That's a part of Chalky Mount there as well. Chalky Mount, the sleeping giant that we keep on referring to, is not made up of all one hill. They're separate hills that are in distances of each other that makes it look as though there's a human lying or a person lying on their back. There is definitely very visual that everyone can see that and make that out, especially from Cherry Tree Hill. Actually, anywhere you look at it from on the coastline, but the further away, the better understanding and the better way it starts to look like what we're talking about, a sleeping giant. Beautiful. Whoever planted these coconut trees, I gotta tell you, kudos, man. This is an amazing thing. Just beautiful. I want to walk you back in the other direction so you can take in Cattle Wash on the east coast. as the day is awakening. But I just want to get us to a point on the beach where we don't look directly in the sun to do so, because right now we're going from south, I was saying, well, actually from southwest to northeast. So we're looking straight into the sun at the moment. Now as the year continues to get later into like December and stuff, this sun is going to come right around. If we were walking this beach somewhere around December and January, we'll be walking directly into the sun, where we're still walking a little bit sort of like alongside the sun with the sun itself. Just beautiful. All right, we're going to take up a move in this direction now. You'll see the sleeping giant there. As you can see, there are varying hills. It's not just one hill. Before, if you've seen it from a distance, like the top of Cherry Tree Hill, you would have thought it was just one hill and the whole ridge was laid out and crafted and carved by nature that way. But it's actually a multitude of hills that make it up. Right in the top, we're seeing that casuarina tree. Well, it looks like the nose area of the casuarina trees. And just at the very top itself, like where the hump is, that is where you'll get the lookout point. We haven't done up there yet, but that is on the cards to go to as well. Just beautiful up there. We've actually hiked all around the lower section of it, but we haven't been up there with the live videos yet. So we will do that in the near future. Lots still to see in the island. It just has to be timed right, because, you know, it depends on weather and time of the year and stuff too also. You know, that all takes an impact on it as well. But we still have a lot to cover, and we're going to start doing a little bit more of the inland again. Maybe do a few of the attractions. We talked about Flora Forest. That's going to happen. That's online. Can't tell you when. You will find out when we get there. And then we have other locations as well we're going to revisit it. I want to do some of the botanical gardens again, because the last time we visited them was in a really dry session right after we had the ash fall. So I would like to go back and let you have a look at them and see them now that they're prime, because we've had some rain. Although the island is suffering terribly from a lack of rain. I mean, this is our rainy season. For example, the plant bougainvillea is usually cut in September because it loves the rain and loves September time. Haven't had any rain at all, you know, so it is just that, just to give you an indication of how it is. The rainfall is very, very, very low right now. Beautiful scenery of the East Coast. We now have the sun to our side, so we can look right up the coastline and enjoy the beautiful views of all the coves and all the bays and all the beach between here and way up. Now the furthest point we're seeing again is going to be up at Concept Bay, and that is the top of Concept Bay itself. Ragged Point will be around there. You wouldn't see that from here right now. Beautiful though. You would tend to have to be elevated more to see the Ragged Point Lighthouse, like up at Cherry Tree Hill and stuff. That's where you're able to see that from. Or the higher elevations in Kettlewash as well. But otherwise that, the furthest point you see from here is the point of Concept that we talked about when we were at Bath Beach. Just I think it was last week in one of our broadcasts. Beautiful though. Alright, today, what have we seen again? We've seen natural Barbados. We've seen an area that is virtually untouched by human except for the planting of these trees. We have seen an area that is nature and eco by itself. Everywhere around here is just beautiful, absolutely stunning. Miles and miles of beach. We're seeing golden sand, we're seeing a little bit of sargassum, but we're seeing birds and we're seeing wildlife and we're seeing nothing but beautiful, beautiful Barbados. Look at the hills. Aren't they just mind-blowing? All the green, so lush and beautiful. Now you can clearly see from here that the beach is going to run out at the end of Morgan Lewis by Foster's Fan Land. That's where the beach stops, and then we go down to Pico Tenerife. Now we are going to do a little bit of the cliff area by Pico Tenerife as well. I have found some tracks here, but I got to do a little more research in MK. I haven't actually hiked that area by myself. So I have to also wait until the hiking is permitted again, because I would do that probably with our hikologists and other people that may be on the island that are interested in doing that at that time. But right now we have to put that on hold. Just beautiful, beautiful terrain. I hope you all have enjoyed it this morning. Again, my apologies for the early start, but if you go back, if you were not on from the very beginning, and you go back to the beginning of the vlog, you will understand why I was so tempted to start at that earlier time. Just too much beauty to leave alone for you not to share with me. As you know, I try to bring you the absolute best of this island. What I see, what I term as being beautiful, as it's a beauty through my eyes. Barbados is just amazing, amazing island. You know, it's a very little small rock, just perched off of the Caribbean chain, which puts us in the Atlantic Ocean. But people like to say we're in the Caribbean Sea. We're not in the Caribbean Sea. Geographically, we're certainly not. But a lot of people like to refer to it as that. But not here to dispute that or anything else. Just wanted to tell you that Barbados is this little rock that God has obviously blessed beyond belief. Because no matter where we go, we've now been doing live vlogs since the 21st of January. And I don't think we've been anywhere you cannot say it's truly beautiful. Even when nature, like for sargassum, heavy rains, thunder and lightning, we've been out in thunder and lightning already. We've been out in a tropical storm. Well, I called it a hurricane, but at the time we went out, it was only storm force winds. We've been everywhere. We've been all out in all types of acts of nature, and we have enjoyed beauty beyond words. Something you actually need to come and experience for yourself, because I know that some of you are able to lock into your memories and feel the sea spray that I'm feeling, the warming rays that are coming off the sun now for sure, the dampness under my feet, the softness of the sand between my toes. These are the things that you can sense because your memories are locked in, and that is the power of your mind. But to come and do this yourself is something that's definitely necessary. For those of you who have not been out to these areas, who have just come here and taken a vacation on the beach, well, if that is what you really want, it's fine. But have a look really closely at what we are doing, where we have been, and see if this is not the kind of beauty that you want to come and experience for yourself, because it's right here waiting on you. There's nothing stopping you from enjoying this. There's no admission fee. There are no restrictions. All you have to do is come and enjoy the beauty of Barbados. This is nature at its best. This is God's gifts to us. And if you can appreciate the things like this here, you know, some people don't really get what we're seeing now. I know that for sure. Some people rather go to a resort where there's lots of partying and stuff like that. But there are many people that need to see this, because this will alter your thoughts. This will change your mind, and you will understand what you're missing if you have not been out into these areas. You know, all my best to you all from Barbados. I love you all. My name is Nicholas Dean. I'm the Bajan warrior. As you said before, it's the warrior for peace, happiness, love, kindness, and general humanity. And we are the EMC, which all have the same belief. We just want to see the best in life. We want to make sure that when we go through life that we are not missing anything, waiting on the day that may never come. So enjoy every minute around you. Be happy, be kind, be safe. Take care of yourself. Remember, if you want to carry positivity, if you want to carry the good things that God has asked you to carry, remember, you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to carry anything, because you will be a dead vessel. So please, just be careful. Always remember, put God, for me, I will put God first. Second would be me, which would be the vessel. Third would be everyone else. I don't limit anyone else behind me because of color, creed, class, sex. It makes no difference to me. I will help everyone. Anyone that comes my way that needs help, I will try and help. And that help, and the only help I can give, is my love and my kindness and my care. And that is the thing I have control over. That is the serenity prayer. Only things that we have control over ourselves. And one thing for sure that I don't want control over is my self-will, because that doesn't play a part in my life anymore at all, because it's God's will. That is who I am following. And wherever He shines the light, I will most definitely walk. And as long as I have strength and vision, and I have the capabilities, I will be here bringing it and sharing it, because that is the journey He has me on. Share everything that I have given you, Nicholas. Do not leave anyone out. Spread it far and wide. And that is the message I continuously get. So that's what I'm doing today, and that's what I'll do every day. And with your help, with your assistance, and with your love, we shall do this together. And we will magnify ourselves to the entire world and show people that you don't have to live in strife. You don't have to live in fear. You don't have to live in any way but positive. You can flood yourself with positivities, and all the negativities will go out the door. Of course, it will creep back in. It's just like any vessel will get in something, but it's a matter of patching it, pushing it back out, starting again. Flood it again with positiveness. I love you all. Have a great day. Greetings from Barbados. Greetings from the East Coast over in the Parish of St. And I love you all, and I wish you all the very, very best. And God's spare life, we will do this tomorrow at another beautiful location around this island. Have a great day, everyone.